We are excited today to have Mike Stagg talk to us about 3 points of contact. What does that mean, Mike? What is this subject all about?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that, Jason. I've always just wanted to say that. Glad you asked. Now, this is one of those really important subjects that sometimes we might forget a little bit about, but this is one of those things that we can't stress enough of a safety topic that is going to help save a ton of pain. Um, this is one of those things that we hear about a lot. This 3 points of contact thing. We'll talk about what it means, but we really just can't stress enough how important it is to maintain 3 points of contact as we're mounting vehicles and using ladders and things like that. So let's get into it. First, I want you to think about a time. You ever been hiking up in the mountains and stood on the edge of a cliff and looked down, and you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like, ooh, that would hurt. you know, um, I was hiking with my family in Yellowstone over the 4th of July, and did this exact thing. Went over the edge of the cliff, over by the waterfall in West Yellowstone there, and just looked down, and it's a long way down there. And man, that would hurt if you fell. Ever get that feeling? That ooh. Now, do you get that feeling when you're getting inside of your truck, inside of the backhoe, climbing up a ladder? Well, I'm here to tell you we should have that feeling. We should have that feeling every time we climb up into something. Because it doesn't have to be a fall from a cliff that's going to severely hurt you. Fall from a truck, fall from a backhoe, from a ladder, down the stairs, those kind of things hurt as well. Okay. And those are far more likely to happen to us than falling off of a cliff. So we should feel that same feeling, getting in and out of the backhoe. Here's just some information, just some statistics about our injuries here at the Trust. Slip, trip, and fall injuries are our #2 cause of injury so far. Okay, 107 total claims on slip, trips, and falls. Okay, a lot of these are preventable. A lot of these would be prevented by using 3 points of contact. Okay, now how much does it actually cost? $1.1 million so far paid out. That's a ton of money paid out because of these claims. So you can see 107 claims, 1.1 million. We're talking about 100,000. We're talking lots of money. Lots and lots of money here per claim. Okay? So these things hurt. They cause us a lot of pain. And we don't want you to get there. We don't want you to feel that. And so these things are preventable. And what can we do? As the things that we're doing, the risky behaviors, as far as slip, trip, and fall goes, boil it down to really three things: getting in and out of trucks and equipment, using the stairs, and climbing ladders. Okay, these are some of our very risky tasks that we have with slip, trip, and falls. So let's talk about vehicles first. Entering and exiting vehicles. Okay, it's the #1 cause of injury for truck drivers. Okay, getting in and out of your vehicles, getting in and out of your trucks, your road graders, your loaders, your backhoes, your excavators, even things like forklifts and boom lifts and scissor lifts. Okay, anytime you have to climb up from ground level into the cab of something, okay, that's where we see injuries. Okay, even trailers, when you have to climb up onto like a flatbed trailer to unload something. Okay, you're not going up a ramp, or there's stairs or something like that. Okay, and then you're maybe jumping off the side of the trailer, trying to jump up onto the trailer, whatever it may be. But anytime you're going from ground level up into something, okay, like a cab, up a ladder, up a wall, whatever it may be, entering and exiting like a vehicle is our #1 cause of injury for truck drivers. Okay, as you see here in the photo, this is the way not to do it. I mean, he's got 3 points of contact, sure, but he's going the wrong way. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Okay. As we talk about entering and exiting vehicles, they account for 12% of our slips and falls and about 24% of the incurred losses, 24% of the dollar value of that 1.1 million that we looked at. Okay. So about a quarter of the cost of all of those is entering and exiting vehicles. So it's a huge issue. Okay. And it's one of those things that we can't stress enough is to use 3 points of contact. So 3 points of contact, what it boils down to is what is a 3 of 4 rule. How many appendages does the average human have? Yeah, we have 4, 2 hands, 2 legs. Okay, here's my hands, legs are down there. I do have pants on, I'm not going to show you. Okay, it's the 3 of 4 rule. 2 hands and 1 foot, 1 hand and 2 feet. Okay, 3 of your 4 appendages need to be touching something as you climb into the cab of a vehicle, or as you use a ladder, or you're going downstairs. Okay, 3 of 4 rule. Teeth, gut, those things don't count. Okay, that doesn't count. 3 of 4 rules. We're talking about your hips. Does that count? No. Okay. Chins, no. Okay. 3 of 4 rule. 3 of your 4 appendages. Okay. 2 hands and a foot, 1 hand and 2 feet. Something like that always has to be contacting these things as we're getting in and out of the vehicles. So as we're preparing to climb into your vehicle, always make sure that you face the vehicle. Okay. Now, why do we say we always want to face the vehicle? Because sometimes you may be talking to somebody over here and you're talking about the job you're going to do, or where you're going to put the excavator or the backhoe, and or where you got to take this pallet and stick it up on a rack over here. But then you start to climb in the vehicle when you're talking to this person over here. Make sure you're facing the vehicle so you know what you're doing, so you know you're putting your hands and your feet. Make sure your handholds are in good condition. Make sure the welds are nice and tight and solid. You don't want something to shift on you as you're climbing into a vehicle and putting your weight now on a handhold, and it moves and it shifts on you, causes you to lose your balance, causes you to fall. Okay, that's the things that you want to check and look for in a pre-trip safety inspection. Making sure these hand and footholds are in good working order and are able to take your weight as you pull yourself and use those to help you get into and out of your vehicles. All right. Don't use things like tires and hubs because those are not designed for you as hand and footholds. Okay. Only use those that are designated as hand and footholds to get into and out of the vehicles. Proper footwear is very, very important. Okay. You want to make sure you have shoes that are non-skid or non-slip type shoes because that's going to help you very easily get into and out of those vehicles. If you've got a slick shoe or shoes with grime or stuff on top of on the bottom of them, okay, you're gonna slip, and you might fall. Okay, you might fall, whack your shin, and as soon as I say whack your shin, everyone knows what that feels like. Okay, that hurts. Okay, we don't want to do that. Make sure you clean the mud and the grease from your hands and your shoes, and so you're not putting that mud or grease on those handholds or the mud and grease that are on the bottom of your shoes because you've been walking around in the field or whatever it was, and you put it onto the steps or the stairs, and you make it slippery for yourself and you cause yourself to slip. Okay, I was at a traffic light this weekend, and I look over to the side of me, and there's this big truck over there. It's a road company who is out repairing the road, and you can see they've got footholds or steps to get into the cab of the vehicle. And on every single stair, you could see the dripped grease and grime and stuff from being on the bottom of somebody's feet when they were climbing into and out of the vehicle. Now I'm thinking to myself, "Huh, that person's probably going to slip and fall at one of these times where they're trying to get into the truck." It's the curse of being a risk manager, I suppose, is that you always are seeing things, even on the weekends, that things that could hurt somebody. Okay, so that's one of those things that we need to be aware of is what's on our hands, what's on our shoes. Make sure you clean them off before you're getting and climbing into your vehicles or climbing the ladders or whatever it is. Don't climb with anything in your hands. That means your phone. Okay, keep your phone out of your hand when you're climbing into your truck, climbing into the forklift. Okay, clipboards, papers. Make sure you keep those out of your hands because you want to be able to use all of your fingers to grab onto those handholds. Don't use the Ninja Turtle grip, right? The three finger grip, because you're trying to hold something, so you're holding with 3 fingers. Use all of your hands. Okay, make sure your hands are clear. You don't have anything in there. And one of the most important things we can do, if not the most important as we prepare to climb, is to take your time in doing it. Okay, this isn't the climbing Olympics. We're not trying to be the best time to get in the forklift or get out of the truck. It's okay to take your time. Take the extra 2, 3, 5, 10 seconds, whatever it is. So you make sure you do it right. Make sure you're using your handholds and having your 3 points of contact as you get into your vehicle or climbing your ladder or whatever it is. Make sure you take your time. Okay. Get everything out of your hands. Take your time. Make sure your shoes are clean. Make sure your hands are clean. So you're not putting grease, grime, dirt, mud, whatever onto those surfaces that could cause you to slip and fall. All right. So remember, don't use steering wheels or other apparatuses as handholds. Why don't you want to use a steering wheel as a handhold as you're getting into your vehicle? Yeah, because steering wheels move, right? And if it moves on you and shifts on you as you put your weight on there, then that's going to cause you to lose your balance and you could slip and fall. Never use things like foot and hand controls, okay? Never try and grab the gear shift. Or when you're climbing in, avoid the foot controls on the floor. Avoid the gears. Avoid the brake and the gas pedals, okay? Don't hit those things as you're getting into and out of your vehicles. And lastly, never get out of a moving vehicle. Never get into a moving vehicle. Always make sure if you're going to get into the vehicle that the vehicle is stopped, it's in park, and you can get in and out of it safely. Make sure when you're getting out of the vehicle that it's parked, that the parking brake's engaged, that you can get in and out of it safely. Never get in and out of a vehicle that is currently moving. Always make sure you come to a full and complete stop. Okay. Engage the brake, put the transmission in park. Okay. Engage the park brake and then exit or get into the vehicle. Now, when we talk about exiting the vehicle and getting out of the truck, you should go in the same way you came out. Okay. Which means you should just do the same thing, just in reverse. Okay. It's like pushing rewind on the old VCR. Okay. Or rewind on your DVR. Okay. We're going to get out of the vehicle the same way we got in, which means reverse entry, reverse of what you did, which means you're going out butt first. Okay. Because if you go out head first, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to go head first into the ground. All right. So make sure that you go out butt first, so you can use those same 3 points of contact that you were using as you got into the vehicle. Okay. Because as you go out, because this part of your body, this upper part, okay, your torso from your waist up, it weighs a lot. And there's a ton of weight there. And as you get out of your vehicle, and if you're leaning forward as you're getting out because it's a low head, you're trying to get out, and you go head first out, that weighs a ton. And you're now have a lot of weight that's going forward out of the vehicle, which will cause you to lose your balance. All right. So make sure that you go out butt first. Use those handholds, use the 3 points of contact, and very, very important, don't jump. Don't jump that last step. Don't try to do the superhero landing. Okay. That's where we see a lot of injuries. People trying to jump out of their trucks to save a couple of seconds of time or to prove they can still do it. Then they rip apart an ACL or they sprain an ankle because they don't see what's underneath them. And they land in gravel and they slip and fall, or they just land wrong and rip their knee apart. Okay, just don't do it. Don't jump. Okay. Make sure every foot hits every stair on the way out. So it's the most simple thing we can do. Now let's talk about falls on stairs. Same thing. There's a handrail. Use the handrail. That's 3 points of contact, right? You got your hand on there plus your feet on the stairs. 3 points of contact. Install rails where needed. If you need a handrail, put a handrail on. Okay. Avoid loads that are going to block your vision. Or better yet, don't carry loads on stairs. Okay. Use the elevators. That's what they're there for. Use the elevator. Okay. It's okay. If you got an elevator there, use it. Okay. You don't have to carry a load up or downstairs. Don't do it. Use the elevator. All right. Look for obstacles on the stairs. Make sure that there's, nothing on the stairs that you're going to slip and fall or trip on. Make sure you always descend 1 stair at a time. How many of y'all have ever seen anybody take you 2 stairs at a time coming down or 2 stairs at a time going up because they want to do it a little bit faster? It's going to mess up your gait, and those stairs are put at a certain length apart for a reason, because that's where the average human gait is. Okay, so when you start to mess with that and start to try and take 2 or 3 stairs at a time to save a little bit, you're going to slip and fall. You're going to slip, you're going to fall, you're going to hurt yourself. Okay, so take 1 stair at a time, descend once at a time, go up one at a time. Again, every foot impacts impacts the stair. Okay, every stair should have a foot impact. That's just plain rule. Don't miss that last step. Don't try and jump. Don't go for the superhero landing. Every stair needs a foot strike. Make sure you hit a stair with every foot strike. Okay. Now let's talk about ladders and falls from ladders. Ladders, you still need 3 points of contact. Okay. 2 hands and 1 foot, 1 foot and 2 hands. Don't carry anything in your hands, things like tools or paint buckets or paintbrushes or phones or whatever. Keep your hands clear. Make sure you clean the rungs. Make sure you clean your shoes again so you don't get the grease and the grime and the mud and the grass and whatever all on those rungs that's going to cause you to slip and fall. All right. Also, clean the shoes or the pads of your ladder. Make sure that those are in good condition. Make sure the rubber is still good so it grips the ground so that ladder doesn't slide out from underneath you. Always make sure you keep your belt buckle between the rungs. Jason did a great webinar on ladder safety a little bit ago where we talked about some of this stuff, but keeping your belt buckle in between those rungs is very, very important so you don't throw your center of gravity off and you don't cause that ladder to tip. So keeping your belt buckle or your belly button inside of the rungs of that ladder, okay, that's going to help make the ladder stay more stable so you don't fall off. Again, don't jump. Don't skip the bottom rung. Every rung or every step requires a foot strike. Okay, make sure you do that. Make sure you remember that. Now let's talk about other things with falls from a ladder. Make sure you use the appropriate tools for the job. Make sure your ladder is long enough for the job, okay? So if you need a taller ladder, get a taller ladder. Never stand on the top 2 rungs. Why don't we stand on the top 2 rungs? Because you can't have 3 points of contact on the top 2 rungs. There's nowhere for your hands to go, okay? Never stand on a chair or another object, okay? Because chairs don't have 3 points of contact. You can have 2 feet, can't have 1 hand though. Okay, so no 3 points of contact on a chair or the top rungs. Make sure you never stand on chairs or other objects. If you need it, get a ladder. Okay, don't stand on those top 2 rungs and make sure you use the correct type of ladder for the correct type of job. Now let's talk about fire trucks and fire apparatuses and things just for a minute. Okay, treat these the same ways you would treat any other kind of heavy equipment, things like back and track hose and things like that. Always maintain those 3 points of contact. That is essential for fire trucks and fire apparatuses as well. Never jump from the cab or the ambulance. I know the people need help. I know you're responding to an emergency. Okay, but don't jump from the cab or the ambulance because you think you can save a couple of seconds. Maintain your 3 points of contact. Exit butt first, the same way you got in, and make sure you maintain those 3 points of contact when you're getting into and out of the vehicle. Keep both your hands free. Don't be carrying your equipment or your kits or hoses or whatever when you're climbing on these things. Okay, make sure you keep your hands free so you can maintain those 3 points of contact. No walking on equipment where no handholds are available. So if there's a walkway on a piece of equipment or where there's nowhere you can hold on to, you shouldn't be walking on it. Okay, that's not designated as a walkway if they don't have a way for you to hold on and keep 3 points of contact. Okay, be aware of surface conditions because these things could change dramatically with your fire engines and fire trucks. Because the surface conditions where you park the truck could be very different than what you would be expecting. It could be wet, it could be slippery, it could be smoldering or torch ground or whatever it is. Okay, make sure that you're aware of the surface conditions underneath and around your vehicle and your truck as you're getting into and out of that piece of equipment. So falls are, cause a lot of serious injuries, but we can make a lot of these go away just by using our 3 points of contact rule, right? Our 3 of 4, 2 hands and a foot, 2 feet and a hand. Make sure that we're always maintaining that 3 points of contact. Using stairs, using ladders, getting into and out of vehicles. Every stair requires a foot strike. Make sure you remember that. Okay, don't try and jump the last stair. Don't go for the superhero landing. Okay, make sure that we are always having a foot strike hit every stair. That's going to help us maintain that 3 points of contact that we need in order to make sure we all stay safe. Again, can't stress this enough how important it is. This one little rule that we maintain those 3 points of contact getting into and out of vehicles, even things like forklifts. Okay, maintaining those 3 points of contact is going to keep us safe. Is essential for helping us stay safe. All right, Jason, how we doing? Any questions out there?
Folks, if you got any questions, please type those in the chat box right now and we'll get those answered. We have an empty chat box right at the moment. But good job, Mike, on that subject. I concur with you 100% on that. This is a key safety issue for every one of us. Doesn't matter if we're working in equipment, doesn't matter if we're just getting in and out of our car. So many of those significant injuries that we see come from this simple act of getting in and out of a vehicle, getting in and out of equipment. This is a key thing that if we can work on this, we'll prevent a lot of the really rough stuff that can happen out there. I'm looking. Looks like that's all we've got. You covered the subject so well that nobody even had a question.
All right then.
You want to give us some final words?
I think this is one of, like Jason said, this is one of those super important things we've gotta maintain that 3 points of contact. Every stair requires a foot strike. Remember that.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you folks for attending. I'll be back here in just over a half hour for safety committees. So thanks, folks. Go out and have a safe day.
Thanks, everyone.